Thank you for joining me today. Well, this is the Friday, September 15th edition of our video devotionals, and we appreciate you being with us today and hope your Friday's going well. We call this Faithful Friday. It is the end of another work week and school week, and if you think about just since Monday, the goodness of God to us, the protection, the guidance, all of it. And so God is faithful, there's no doubt about it, and let's be faithful to Him. And sometimes there's avenues in which you can really show that faithfulness by going out and doing God's work. For example, tomorrow at 10 o'clock, we'll go out and we call it soul winning. People call it visitation, call it outreach, whatever you want to call it. We go door to door. We go out and we invite people to church naturally, but we say more importantly is that we want to find out if they're saved or not. And we meet a lot of saved people, and but we meet people that aren't saved. And so the point is that's a way of me showing my faithfulness to God because of His faithfulness to me to save me and to keep me, and others need to hear that. We are to preach the gospel, but anyway, that's a way to show the faithfulness of God. And then, of course, going to church, being faithful to the house of God. And again, God's faithful to us, and we should, in all the avenues that we can, be faithful. All right, so from the Today book, yesterday we did not read anything because I did not have it. So today I'm going to read the 14th, the 15th, the 16th, and maybe even the 17th, if there's not too many entries here. And that'll catch us up through Monday when we come back, and Lord willing, on Monday. All right, so September 14th, 1452, the birthday of Savonarola. He was a preacher, and of course, going back to the middle of the, I guess you call it the 15th century there. And of course, he was burned in the public square by the order of Alexander VI, so he was a martyr. In 1959, the day that the Soviet rocket hit the moon for the first time. 1901, Theodore Roosevelt became president. Theodore Roosevelt became the 26th president upon the death of William McKinley. And of course, he was one of those that was assassinated. So Theodore Roosevelt became one of our greater presidents. 1927, Bob Jones University in Greenville, South Carolina was opened. September 15th, which is today's date, the birthday of William Howard Taft. 1914, the Panama Canal was opened. September 16th, 1620, the Pilgrims left for America. 1810, let's see here, make sure I'm not turning too many more pages here. Okay, 1810, Mexican independence began. Let's see here, September 17th, which is Sunday, 1787, the Constitution of the United States was ratified. Of course, we hear much about the Constitution, about the adherence to it, and certainly, sadly, the non-adherence to it. And we're going to stop right there. So we'll come back on the 18th, Lord willing, on Monday, and we'll pick up right there. Otherwise, we're in a new book as far as our devotions go, Daniel. And we're going to be in chapter 2 today, and kind of jump right kind of toward the middle here and just give you a thought that we believe can help you today. And otherwise, again, we appreciate all of you who watch, and we thank you for the interactions that we have. And of course, as we can pray for one another, let's do that. All right, so at this point, Daniel and many, of course, are in Babylon there. And King Nebuchadnezzar has this dream. He doesn't know what it means. And he basically says, somebody better tell me what it means, or else the people that say they can interpret dreams, it's going to be their life. So that happened to include Daniel and them. And so Daniel was able, of course, to reveal the dream to Nebuchadnezzar. We won't get in all the details; it's just too much. But I do want to give you some things that relates to that. All right. So notice we're going to start at verse number 19. It says, "Then was the secret revealed unto Daniel in a night vision. Then Daniel blessed the God of heaven. Daniel answered and said, Blessed be the name of God forever and ever, for wisdom and might are His. And He changeth the times and the seasons. He removeth kings and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise and knowledge to them that know understanding. He revealeth the deep and secret things. He knoweth what is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth with Him. I thank Thee and praise Thee, O Thou God of my fathers, who hast given Thee wisdom and might, and hast made known unto me now what we desired of Thee. For Thou hast now made known unto us the king's matter. Therefore Daniel went in unto Arioch, whom the king had ordained to destroy the wise men of Babylon. He went and said thus unto him, Destroy not the wise men of Babylon. Bring me in before the king, and I will show unto the king the interpretation. Then Arioch brought in Daniel before the king in haste. and said thus unto him, I have found a man of the captives of Judah that will make known unto the king the interpretation. The king answered and said to Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar, art thou able to make known unto me the dream which I have seen and the interpretation thereof? Daniel answered in the presence of the king and said, the secret which the king hath demanded cannot the wise men, the astrologers, the magicians, the soothsayers show unto the king, but there is a God in heaven that revealeth secrets, and maketh known to the king Nebuchadnezzar what shall be in the latter days. Thy dream and thy visions of thy head upon thy bed are these. So the point I just want to make here is what's been said here. Wisdom, the interpretation, the things that are considered secret, things that are not revealed to mortal man, natural man. God is the one who does that. In this case, Daniel was the only one. And here he is, he's a captive in a land, and he's got all these people around him, these basically demon influence, devil influence, or even just worldly influenced people that supposedly is part of the king's cabinet to give him advice or, to answer questions he might have, what have you. So the point is he had this dream, and of course it was from God, and therefore only God was going to be able to give the interpretation. This is where the door opens up for Daniel to make known unto the king and to the rest of them that there's a God that they serve, even though they're captive, and God is the one who allowed all this to happen. There's God Almighty, and God is the one who revealed the secret to Daniel, and Daniel, of course, reveals it to King Nebuchadnezzar. So that's a way of testifying for the Lord. That's a way of testifying for God, because you get to speak about who God is, his character, and what he's able to do. And of course, Daniel was able to do that. So I guess the point I want to make is this, that's why it's so important for us to go to God in prayer. That's why it's so important to petition God with the things that we need to know. James 1:5 says, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. Now there's something that you ought to take advantage of. You ought to say, Lord, I need wisdom. And first of all, you need it. Before you have a question, before you have a situation which you kind of are not sure about, you need to go ahead and say to God, God, I'm going to have things come up in my life. I may be asked questions. I may be asked to give counsel. I may have to give direction and lead, or whatever it might be in my own life. I may have to make some decisions. So Lord, I'm going to ask for the wisdom because I lack it, and we all do. And this is where God says, and I love how it's phrased there, he'll give it liberally. In other words, more than enough. So the point is that God is the one who's in charge. And if you notice within the language, God sets up kings and brings down kings. Don't get all perplexed and upset about things that goes on around this world and even in our country. And you say, good night, I wish this, I wish that. Look, there's a God who knows. You individually do right. And you pray and you live right. And ask God for the wisdom that it takes to navigate all the things we're dealing with. And God will give it to you. And if there's something that needs to be revealed to others that God can use you to do that with, then so be it. I mean, that's part of my job as a pastor. I know the words are right there in the Bible, but God has called me to be a preacher. And God, I go to him and say, God, help me and show me the things I need to give to the people, and just bring the scriptures to light and help me to help people, because everybody has issues in life. And everybody needs to do the right thing, the best thing. And that takes wisdom. And God is the one who can reveal all the things that we need to know. So we're going to stop right there. Hope everybody has a great Friday, weekend, Sunday. Lord willing, we'll see you on Monday. Be safe, be healthy. And Lord willing, we'll see you on Monday. Have a great day.